Here.
Hi. I'm a writer and a visual artist, and one thing that I was really curious about is, other than like the Innovation Fund and the Power to Give, which seems to be more project-based, is there a way for like literary arts organizations and other music organizations that maybe aren't traditional, so like outside of the opera and the orchestra, but like other music organizations and literary art organizations able to get like funding for their operating budgets, like the way that, you know, the opera or KMAC or LVAA gets funding, that's outside of like a project-based?
You mean to become cultural members in the organization, or to an ad hoc?
Yeah, like as a 501c3, for them to be able to get money that's not based on a specific project, which is what the Innovation Fund and the Power to Give seem to be. Because I know that there's more like literary arts popping up in the city, and if they're, and I've heard about like one or two different organizations. I was just wondering if that was a possibility for them to be able to get money from the fund that's not project-based.
Okay, my response to that would be, take the budget or the cost figures you have and then be creative with that. And you could put up a project to give, a project on Power to Give that deals with some operating costs.
Okay.
I mean, Julie put that Ghostbusters project up and said, help me renovate the garage, basically, and $10,000 was there. Shelby County Theater put up a project and said, help us buy wallpaper and carpet, and in 1.5 hours they raised $5,000 for wallpaper and carpet.
Okay.
So, yes.
You can do projects on Power to Give that aren't maybe more like for your administrative costs or operating budget.
Oh, absolutely. There's 90 projects up right now. Go through and look at them, and you can see which ones are working and selling, so to speak, and which ones aren't. And then call Amber. Amber's very creative right
here. We have a project in holding because the organization needs new computers.
The ballet had a project fund last week to buy a little portable sound system to take into the schools for their ballet and residence program, and I went over to Cochran Elementary with Amber, and we presented the check for $440 for that. Sure. Come see us. Come over to the office and sit
I don't
down.
have an organization. I'm just asking for the people who aren't represented here.
Okay.
We have a comment. Yes.
Yeah, and that was part of it.
So
you
go
were
ahead.
behind. I'm kind of tempted to ask, she is asking a little bit about how do you become a cultural partner? How do smaller 503Bs become a cultural partner with the arts? Where do they start this conversation? And how do they go about it? Because there's a lot out there. And they come to me because I work with the LVAA, and I don't know the answer. So I would love to be able to share that with the rest of the community.
Okay, it's a several-step process. Now that we have these strategies in place for the Power to Give and the new employee campaign strategies, my recommendation would be come to us, work with us. We take it one step at a time. We start building relationship. We start producing revenue together. We start looking at operating procedures together and programming and see what we can do to be helpful with the organization, and then look and see if cultural partnership is the right decision or not. Okay. With this allocation review process, that's going to be the first set of recommendations that come. What about next year? Is there something to look at for next year? Should there be a cultural partner concept? I'm surprised no one's asked that question.
Sir?
Yes, Barbara.
Yes.
I kind of would like to bring something up that was touched on over here, and then what the gentleman here was talking about our, biting my tongue, our newspaper. We now don't have an orchestra, okay? But we also don't have a newspaper that literally cares anything about what any of us are doing. They've got one woman. They've got one poor woman trying to do everything. She can't see every shot. She can't see any of that. She can't see anything. She can't go to the gallery. She can't see all of the places to view them. I don't know if you know this, but there are close to 35 theater companies producing in this city and Bullitt County. A couple across the river. 35 that are doing work. And I'm not talking about Mickey and Judy painting a set and putting it up in the barn. I'm talking about people that are spending their own money to get things off the ground. And we don't have the money, because it's always the money, stupid. That's what my managing director at the theater that I learned from always told me. It's always the money. I don't get the press because I don't buy ad space. I don't buy ad space because I can't afford it. But by God, I'm going to start affording it because I'll start kissing people's butts. Because it's the money. It's always the money. How can we have an arts vibrant community, which we have? Good God, look at us. We have this incredible community with all of these artists. And we have a newspaper that gives us a Sunday art section that is literally a tenth the size of the coupons. It has usually nothing to do with anything local. Usually. But I can read about Lindsay Lohan. I can read about other things that are happening in New York, Chicago, and everywhere. But maybe once a year, well, I don't know, maybe once a month, there's a little something about a local company. That's it. Well, we got 30, 35 companies here. And that is excluding the big ones, which there are really only one. Is there anything you personally can do with Gannett? Is there anything you can personally do with the fact that we're not even, we have a newspaper that's not even owned by anybody here? So why do they care? Maybe I'm wrong, but that's...
I think you two are actually doing more than anyone else can do. You have your...
No, he's doing it.
This, theartslouisville.com. It's the only
It's the only
place
review.
to get a review anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, you're doing it well, and you're going to have to let it go. You're going to have to let the CJ go.
You're right.
You're going to have to embrace this website,
Right.
embrace his writers, embrace this. Because this is what we've got, and it's great.
Yeah, and it's the same thing as now happening.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It's about getting the word out to everybody. And small companies like us have problems